teams this evening, starting with Arsenal, and as promised, Arsene Wenger is putting out a decent side then. The likes of Ray Parlour, Wiltor, Kanu, Lushni, Van Bronckhorst, Grimandi, all regulars in the first team pool, and Richard Wright, 24 today, has been given then an instant opportunity to rebuild his confidence after some brittle defending by Arsenal has led to 12 goals being conceded in the last 5 games. Of the young brigade, it's a chance to assess how Jermaine Pennant then and Stathis Tablaridis, a young Greek defender, can cope at a higher level, David.
Yes, a real test, particularly for the younger element in the Manchester team. I think Phil Neville and Dwight Yorke. Watch out for O'Shea at centre-back. He's going to be busy tonight. He's going to have to defend really well. In the Arsenal team, experience, dare I say, shop window maybe for 1 or 2 players. How will Pennant cope with the more experienced players alongside him to help him along? And a chance for Edu to impress, someone who so far has had a rather obscure Arsenal career.
Well, it's a measure of the strength in depth of these 2 clubs that they now both can field in 2 teams for a senior game on successive days. United's tonight also includes a few familiar names, not as many as Ferguson would have hoped, as he was telling me beforehand. I think Yorke and Cole would have started up front had other players being fit over the weekend, but the current injury list has put paid to him, putting out a stronger team. There are places though for Yorke, Phil Neville, Luke Chadwick, John O'Shea, Ronnie Walworth, and goalkeeper Roel Carroll, as well as some promising fledglings there: Djordjic, Stewart, Roach, Webber and Davis.
Yeah, possibly a 4-4-2 shape, something that was tried and trusted system of Manchester United for many, many years. Dare I say recently it's changed very slightly. There's a bit of experimenting. Look out for Danny Webber, the manager rates him highly, but also the wing play of Djordjic and Chadwick. And as I said before, I think O'Shea and Walworth will be busy at the back. Of course, Walworth's had experience. He's had experience in Belgium with Royal Antwerp, who Manchester United have used as a feeder club. So has Chadwick out in that country. So there is some kind of experience there. But I have to say, on the evening, just looking, and we all know games aren't played on paper, but Arsenal have a heavy advantage, I think, particularly playing at home as well.
Well, I did ask Alex Ferguson about Dwight Yorke in midfield. Any thoughts on that, David? Alex was saying, well, that'll perhaps help improve his stamina. I said, had you told Dwight he's playing there yet? I don't think he had at that point. But
no, he came out in his tracksuit bottoms in the warm-up, and I think he was enjoying himself. He'll probably see it. You know, I think there's no pressure. There's a lovely thing about youth. It's like there's a naivety, and there'll be a spring in the step of the United kids. There's a lot of supporters here tonight. They've been impressing him. There's Sir Roland Smith, the chairman of Manchester, with his manager, Mrs. Smith. And I'm sure that these United fledglings tonight, they'll be anxious to impress, and you know, nothing will give Alex greater pleasure than the directors turning round after a short while and saying, who's that and who's that? And said, well, if you'd have watched the youth team a little bit more, you'd know them. But I'm sure they'll all do themselves credit tonight.
Well,
Lenny Lawrence there.
Yeah, Grimsby next for the winners this evening. Well, Sir Alex in great mood at the moment, rather in contrast to yesterday. Both managers, Arsene Wenger as well, seething at their setbacks. Arsenal unbelievably really caving in so calamitously against Charlton, and Manchester United, according to Alex Ferguson, lacking hunger in defeat at Liverpool. 2 past winners of the League Cup under its various guises in conflict here. 2 giants of the English game, proving that you can undertake major assignments on consecutive days. Ray Parlour leading out Arsenal, and Phil Neville with the captain's armband for Manchester United. It's the opportunity for some of the fringe players then to enhance their first team aspirations. There's an excellent match-up in prospect here, as Arsenal and Manchester United square up at Highbury to contest this Worthington Cup 3rd round tie. Not, of course, top of the target list for either team, no one would suggest that. But it is the competition that gave Liverpool a platform for last season. 2 more trophies swiftly followed. And certainly for Arsenal, they need to bring home some new silverware pretty soon. It's fast becoming a priority, I think. And winning the League Cup will be a firm step in the right direction. It won't be quite full tonight, but looking round, David, it's going to be a fair-sized attendance here.
Yes, I think, and they'll, particularly the Arsenal supporters, they'll be really right behind their side. They've had a little bit of criticism, they've been stunned somewhat. And of course Manchester United, I mean, you don't get any harder fixtures than Liverpool away, but there's been a little bit of a reaction, possibly an overreaction by the press. So Manchester United, you know, if they can get a good performance tonight by their youngsters, that will restore faith in everything they're trying to do at the club, bringing young players through as well as signing occasionally very expensive quality players like Van Nistelrooy and Veron.
So there we are, we're all set up for Arsenal against Manchester United in the Worthington Cup.
Thanks, boys. Tomorrow's stars tonight. We hope so. Arsenal United in round 3 of the Worthington Cup, live and exclusive, next. Not playing, but he is here to watch. Thierry Henry off to Australia tomorrow, but tonight it's Arsenal against Manchester United in round 3 of the Worthington Cup. So let's rejoin our commentators David Pleat and Peter Brackley.
Right, kick-off approaching here as we have a look at Kanu. Well, the Nigerian international who didn't get to start too many games. It's his opportunity this evening. Arsene Wenger has been saying a little while back, he's surprised he's still here, David. A lot of clubs were interested, nobody took him. But here he is again, and there's no doubt about the man's talent.
No, it's very frustrating. It must be for him. He gives Arsenal something different. He's very good at holding the ball up. He's not one of these fast, free-running players like Will Tord and Henry, but he's so clever at close quarters, particularly on the edge of the box. He can win you free kicks, and of course he's got that magic ability to make time for himself.
And certainly this man has talent too. Luke Chadwick, who was actually pinched by, if that's the right word, from Manchester United, or by Manchester United from Arsenal's School of Excellence in his younger days. We'll be looking forward to seeing him flying down the flank, and indeed Jermaine Pennant, likewise for Arsenal. It's a fascinating comparison between the two. Arsenal about to get us underway. Mike Riley just checking that all is well. Wiltor and Kanu up front then for Arsenal. Two youngsters in the firing line for Manchester United, Danny Webber and Jimmy Davis. This is Grimondi, who did play yesterday. So did Van Bronckhorst, of course. He's in at left back. Wiltor was on as a sub during the game. Here's Stepanovs, the Latvian international. Now Edu. Not too much has been seen of him, really. He's had injury problems since he came from Corinthians, his club in Brazil. Wiltor with some good movement up front. Here's Woolwalk. He's got a central defensive role for Manchester United, one of their more experienced players, you could say. This is Tavroledes. You've seen him a bit, I think, David, haven't you?
I saw him in a game at London Colney, Arsenal's training ground. He looked very, very competent, very calm on the ball. Not the quickest of players, however, I only did see him for one game. Not the quickest of players, but a very good defender and very skillful on the ball. And he certainly impressed the people watching that day. He was on trial, Arsenal decided to keep him.
Here's Chadwick, who is very much an old-fashioned style of winger, and a really exciting one too. He was actually dropped from the England under-21 team recently, left on the bench while Pennant played. Here is Pennant now, and there was a huge roar, I noticed, David, around Highbury when it was announced that Pennant was playing, so clearly they see him as very much one for the future here.
Yeah, they've heard a lot about him, of course, and he does excite because he hugs the line and crosses well, and he's a throwback to the days of the raiding winger.
That was Davis, up front then for Manchester United, an England youth international. Here's Beckham. No, just testing. It's not David, don't worry. Away by Luzhny. And it's not by any means familiar Manchester United team, is it?
It's bonfire night, Peter, not April Fool's Day.
Well, Alex Ferguson was saying he really did want to field a stronger team tonight, but as I was saying, York and Cole, I think, would have played up front had circumstances been different. Of course, he's got so many out injured at the moment, including Roy Keane, who is still some way from full fitness. But Richard Wright in goal for Arsenal this evening. Here's Parler. Wright, who admits to being pretty shell-shocked after yesterday's demise here. He, of course, punched through his own goal for one of those Charlton goals. It was some comeback after Arsenal had pulverised Charlton in the first 25 minutes or so. It was Cavalides. Still that Wiltor with a clever spin.
Two Manchester United front players, Danny Webber and Jimmy Davies, look very diminutive figures compared with the taller Greek player, Tafaridis, and also Stepanovs. But I think they'll hustle and they'll work and they'll chase, and you can expect Manchester United to work very, very hard tonight off the ball to try and contain Arsenal's possession.
Alan Kirbishley of Charlton is in the crowd tonight. I'm sure he hasn't come to gloat. He's too nice a fellow to do that. He was probably as shocked as everybody else was. It was some turnaround. Here's Edu scrapping with Chadwick, who came out on top. Parler wearing the armband then for Arsenal tonight, snapping in with the tackle. Phil Neville at left back for Manchester United. There is Alan Kirbishley. It was some day for his team yesterday. They really have been struggling in the league, and suddenly it all came right for him. But in truth, they could have been 4 or 5 down before the transformation. Here's Luzhny. Sent off recently in the game against Schalke in the Champions League. The 37th player to be dismissed under Arsene Wenger. That is not a record to be proud of. Now Chadwick. This is Roach. Another of the youngsters drafted in tonight. Spent most of last season on loan with Wrexham. Did pretty well too. He was voted their young player of the year.
There's good support play and an early cross, and Jordic will take an in-swinger with his left foot. Talented boy, this one.
Now the whistle's gone, and it will be a free kick for an infringement in there. John O'Shea had come up from the back. Well, I wonder how jittery he will be, Richard Wright. It is a question, I think, of restoring his confidence, David.
Yes, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for him, coming so soon after making a blunder, to be able to, you know, get in that goal again and try and restore the faith.
Here's O'Shea, who was a substitute for Manchester United in their defeat by Liverpool yesterday. Wiltor. Kanu was lurking in the vicinity. That was Stewart laying it back. Scottish under-21 international. Cavalides to Luzhny. Whatever happened to Dixon, Bold, Adams and co?
Well, we know where Winterburn is. I saw Tony Adams before the game tonight, and he looks in good spirits, although he's not able to play. But all good things come to an end, and Arsenal have to build again.
Here's Grimaldi, the Frenchman. Now his compatriot Wiltor. Off to Australia tomorrow. But back in the fray tonight as Arsenal seek to progress in the Worthington Cup. It's Jordic. I know Alex Ferguson is pretty excited about his prospects. He was set clattering there by the challenge from Ray Parler, who clearly is taking his job as captain tonight pretty seriously.
Well, Jordic had a lovely little skirmish there with Pennant to regain possession of that ball, and then Parler came across and fouled him late.
Jordic came from a Swedish club, although he is a Serb by birth, rather than the Ryan Giggs mould with his style of play. And they've got an opening here with Phil Neville, but he has failed to deliver. Good opportunity then for Manchester United.
Super opportunity. Davies and Webber at the near post, at the back post. York had made grounds from midfield, but it was a fabulous little ball by Jordic that played the ball into Neville's stride. That should give the outside left a lot of confidence. Poor ball by the captain.
O'Shea jumping with Kanu. Then Woolworth. Walton plays it midfield, but a central defensive job for him. Alongside O'Shea, the Irishman.
He's the tallest player in the United side tonight. They do lack height, and he's marking the tallest player in the Arsenal side, Kanu.
Edu. Tipped over invitingly too. And I think there was a push then on Roy Carroll, the Irish goalkeeper.
Well, it should have been meat and drink really to Carroll, because the ball came in with no pace at all. It was dinked up, and Carroll really had quite a comfortable job to come and collect it. He didn't make the best job of it, but he's got the free kick.
He's had one or two outings in the senior team lately, including against Lille, of course. And at the moment, well, I think Alec Ferguson could be too comfortable about Fabio Barthez, so it's a chance for Carroll to shine and show what he can do. That was Danny Webber. Ferguson was saying to him beforehand, he's got a real chance, as Webber, of making the grade.
He's got pace, we saw that quite clearly there.
Andy Cole has been singing his praises. Should be right. He's held on comfortably enough, to the relief of Bob Wilson, who probably would have missed it. Sorry, Bob. David Seaman, of course, still out injured at the moment. He won't be back for a while yet. Stuart Taylor is the number 2, and he's on the bench. I think he would have started, but for yesterday's problems with Richard Wright and the Arsenal defending. So it's a case of bringing Wright in tonight to help restore his morale. Will might be a goal for England at the weekend, of course.
Yeah, there we see Dennis Bergkamp.
I wasn't looking at him actually, but yes, you're right. Sorry.
He's one of the few players I can identify quite easily tonight, Peter, actually.
You're one up on me then. Here's Neville with the throw. I've seen it before. Not a fixture, of course, in the United team.
I think his role will be important tonight. Alex will look to him to steady this young ship.
Stepanovs.
It has started quite well, really. The important thing is the first 20 minutes, as it always is for the away team. Containment. Try and restrict the home team to few chances. Don't give them any cause for too much optimism early on.
Cano. Bundled over there by midfielder Dwight York, as he is tonight.
He's still smiling wherever he plays.
Doesn't seem to start too many games these days. And you wonder, is he getting itchy feet? He's on the ball now. Here's Chadwick. William Edu, the Brazilian. Stewart and then Dwight York, who featured in the 2 League Cup games for Manchester United last season, I remember, against Watford and Sunderland. He scored against Sunderland and was sent off. United going out at that stage. Arsenal down to Ipswich in the 3rd round. Woolwalk in ahead of Wiltor. Back comes Edu. That was Bjordic.
Trying to use Webber's pace. Covered by Van Bronckhorst.
He's been doing well in the reserves, I'm told, Danny Webber. Got a hat-trick against Newcastle earlier in the season. Given away then carelessly by Stewart. It's Wiltor. Away from O'Shea. Still that Wiltor. Bearing down on goal. And the block in the end denied him. Some important defending then by Neville.
Yeah, it's important defending by Neville, but rather weak defending by his colleagues there. So 2 dummies on the way on that run. Wiltor. There's the first one. I think that was O'Shea. Then fortunately Neville blocked.
Stepanovs has come up from the back, almost made contact. It was York, and then swung well wide from our friend from Greece, Tavaroulidis, which is easy enough for me to say.
Yes, evidently impressed Arsenal in a international under-21 game where they had a scout present, and then they saw him play for his club side, Salonika. Arsene Wenger, of course, not amiss to bringing quite a few foreign players over to Arsenal. He's very good at handling them. Of course, there's many that don't get first-team opportunities, and many are moved on.
Here's Wiltor. Now Neville. On to Jordic, who scored a cracking goal against Celtic at the back end of last season in Tom Boyd's testimonial to announce his arrival. Chadwick. I think he's considered now very much a part of the first division setup, the first team setup, I should say. Luke Chadwick. Tavolides. Eventually managing to clear under a bit of pressure then from Davies. Here's Dwight York.
Desperate for targets up front, the Manchester United defenders. It's difficult to hit a longer ball, they're so small, the two strikers. They've got to work the ball through the field.
On by Pennant, who's not really got into the game yet. Ray Parler now trying to spread the play. Van Bronckhorst, who hasn't ventured forward too much. Stepanos. Now Edu. Quick thinking though by Dwight York. Roach to Chadwick. Tavolides. Rather tame clearance though. Straight to Weber. Showing his battling qualities, but it's Grimaldi now advancing for Arsenal. To Canu. Wiltor ahead of him, he's offside here. Wiltor is through, and Arsenal are in front. On the half hour. I should say on the quarter hour.
Well, it's fine play by Grimaldi, skipping past several tackles. I think that he was possibly just played onside on this right-hand side. I think it was Roach. But once he was away, he was always going to place that ball with his left foot behind the goalkeeper.
Yeah, did well to keep his feet there, Wiltor. Some blistering pace by him. The flag stayed down as the United defenders looked across the line now.
Well, I don't think Wiltor was offside, and I think it was Canu trying to get onside, but we would need to see that again.
Grimaldi. Well, in truth, they have looked the more likely scorers in this initial period, and they have their reward now. This is O'Shea tidying up for United, and will call up the hop really. The acceleration of Wiltor. He has some pace, this fella. It's his fourth goal this season. He can go on with that one. He scored against Schalke. Spoiled for choice up front, isn't he, Arsene Wenger?
Yeah, so Wiltor's another one. If he's got space to run into, he's very effective. And once he's past that last defender, I think it was Ronnie Walworth that was trying to stay with him, but there was never really any chance.
Stewart with Dwight York, outmaneuvered though. Edu with Wiltor. This is Chadwick to break it up, and maybe send United on their way. Good running by Chadwick. Jordic to whip it over now. There's Tavolides, sturdy and secure at the back.
Nice break by Stewart.
Yep, trying to thread it through. Grimaldi caught in possession by Dwight York.
My early impression is, from United's point of view, I think if they can thread the ball out to Jordic, it looks as though he's got enough ability and composure to look after the ball, buy them some time, because it's not going to be easy. Arsenal, I'm sure, are going to win the territorial game tonight, but I think Jordic could be a threat. And of course, if they can get the ball to that man, Chadwick, we know that he's got some pace and he can hurt defenders.
He's given it away. It's Edu now. Wiltor pulling away to the far post. A weak header by O'Shea. Here's Wiltor now. Looking very feisty, very lively up front. And they are finding him very, very hard to contain. Pennant to Parler. It's easily read though by Michael Stewart, the young Scottish midfielder. Stepanovs will still be haunted, I'm sure, by the memory of last season's game at Old Trafford when United won 6-1. Freddie Ljungberg with his latest hairstyle. Goodness me. You tried that one, David?
Well, it looks like a pop group to me, isn't it? Doesn't make him go any slower, Freddie Lundberg, you know, that hairstyle, I think. Regardless of the hairstyles in the Arsenal team, they seem to be pretty quick, those with strange hairstyles.
It was originally to Kanu. It's not out this time, though. The tenacity of Stewart onto Dwight York now. And that was very nearly into the path. And the young man up front, Jimmy Davis.
A lovely little run of Davis. He floated off the back of Stepanovs there for York's ball. Love to see York get on the ball, because he's got that trickery and that poise that can brighten the game up. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the crowd here tonight. It's a full house. We can't see an empty seat. And it's quite incredible, really, because they all had a... Let's see what Davies can do.
He's got Weber in the middle. Chadwick's arriving as well. And Jordic! It was such a good chance fashion for him there. Arsenal in some disarray at the back. They were really opened up. And to Wright's relief, it flew wide of the post.
Well, if I was him, I wouldn't worry too much. It was a great opportunity. What a good position he got himself into. Davis's ball, nicely pulled back. Should have scored. No one can deny that. But he was on the spot. He was in a nice position. And he worked hard to get into that position, because it was a very quick break by Davies down the right.
There was not too much protection there for Richard Wright. This is Davies, the man who set up that chance. That will do his confidence no harm at all. Looking really bright here again. Stepanovs managing though to smuggle it away. Only as far as Neville. Good response here by United.
He took that ball beautifully, and he's got a yellow card as Edu for his trouble in bringing him to ground, but didn't he take that ball lovely?
Michael Stewart. A little late then, the Brazilian. Obviously keen to impress. This rare start. Seems to have been beset by injury problems since he came to the club. Neville. Stretching. But it's Grimondi breaking now. Options right and left, mainly down the right. Wiltor, who made himself available. Canu's up top. Here is Canu. Always a threat. Crowd on their feet behind the goal. It was a risky old pin pass there by Warwalk, but almost put his keeper under some pressure.
Yeah, a bit of table football there, just to get the crowd going.
But the game beginning to open up nicely. Here's Weber. No offside. He was clean through.
Second chance in a couple of minutes. Bob Wilson may be pleased. It was a good block. He was quick off his block.
Stewart. Now to Roach. Cavallarides away. Chadwick. United beginning to impose themselves now. Stewart seeing a lot of the ball in midfield. This is Roach. They've got 4 up here, United, including Dwight York. Relishing this opportunity. Back on senior duty, Dwight York. But here was Weber's chance.
Well, Stepanovs played onside. It was a lovely ball by Jordic. And if could have just got sideways on Weber and probably dragged the ball past Wright, he might have presented himself with a good opportunity. He was square on as he faced the keeper and made it easy for Wright to block.
And what he wouldn't give for a clean sheet this evening. York with Parler. I think giving him the armband for the Schalke match really underlined that he has a future here, Ray Parler. Arsene Wenger has been very keen to make that clear, even though he's not necessarily an automatic selection these days. Woolworth with the free kick. Stepanovs happy for his keeper to collect. O'Shea jumping with Wiltor. Always the favourite is Jordic. Davis almost took it in his stride. His confidence is growing.
Jordic looking for that ball in between the centre-backs. for the bright Davies and the quick Weber.
Wiltor appealing for some sympathy from referee Ryan, getting none. Here's Stewart, very combative in that midfield department. Chadwick. Some of the football flowing and easy on the eye. Chadwick again on the charge. It's Dwight York and Davies trying to set up a shooting opportunity. But he can't even serve as Jordic in the end. Down that left side for Manchester United. So off goes Wiltor. Kanu, as ever, unorthodox. Almost got through.
Well, the two experienced players did awfully well there. Neville was almost faced with a 3v1, fought for the ball, and then his pal York tied it up behind and passed the ball back to Carroll. But United bringing a bit of self-belief into their play now. It's nice to see. Stewart in midfield is getting into the game. Looks like a young butt to me, the way he plays. And on the right-back position, Roach going forward at every opportunity to use the space that Chadwick leaves when he moves inside.
Well, certainly the crowd here absorbed in this Worthington Cup tie. And United are threatening to come back. Don't they always? Not yesterday, much to the manager's fury. Davies with Weber. He's a strong man. I think it was actually on Manchester City's books to start with. This is Jordic. O'Shea is a target in the centre, along with Dwight York and Woolworth. They need to bother coming up.
Well, Mr. Riley was trying to make sure that Grimondi and Van Bronckhorst moved back a couple of yards, yet he didn't measure it. I thought they were a good 10 metres, and in the end, would you believe it, Jordic hits them with the ball.
That was Ray Parler sliding in on Jordic. Good spell this, though, for Manchester United. O'Shea's now arrived just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Wright has stayed at home. York and Davies going for the same ball. Here's Wiltor, whose goal divides the two teams. Not that we would have thought otherwise, David, but it is certainly competitive.
Yes, it's competitive, and I think the United players are going to relish this. They're going to try and knock the ball about, and they're going to try and embarrass, if possible, the more experienced players of Arsenal. But of course, the more they go forward, the more danger I'm sure that Wiltor will provide because of that pace. It's very important that that man, Walwark, and O'Shea alongside him keep close together and make sure the distance between them and the goalkeeper is the right one, because Kanu has the cleverness to be able to put Wiltor through. And of course Pennant's very quick. We haven't seen him in the game much. He's now moved into the centre up the front, and Wiltor's having a spell on the right hand side of the middle four.
Stepanovs towering over Weber, but it's Stewart now, looking to unleash one, but no real power behind it. But he's settled down in midfield now in tandem with Dwight York and Stewart. Woolwork stepping up, and Kanu is caught offside.
Well, they can afford to do that with Kanu. He won't catch them for pace, I don't think. It's the Wiltor that they've got to be careful of.
We saw just now Thierry Henry. No part for him then this evening. Parler. Arsenal is driving force from the midfield. It's a storming run here by Parler. Wiltor. Pennant had cut inside. This is Kanu. And then Edu! A really good try too.
Not an easy shot to take. It's a nice knockback from Kanu, and it was just behind Edu, but there you see he had to lean back when the ball comes, cleverly held. It was a difficult shot to take, and he kept it down well. and he just steers it wide.
Not far away from his first goal for Arsenal. Lugny. Little nudge then by Wiltor on Phil Neville. Canu's little touch then for Edu. Good covering though by John O'Shea. He'll be hoping to push for a senior place on a regular basis, John O'Shea. Especially with United's current defensive frailty. Roach careless with his distribution. Grimaldi working hard to steer it on to Wiltor. And now Kanu. Oh, the keeper's a long way out here, and that's a penalty. Carroll has brought him down. And from my angle here, he was spot on then, Mike Riley.
I just wonder why Carroll had to come. He was going wide of the goal. All of a sudden, Carroll appears from nowhere. I think Kanu just got caught, didn't he, with his ankle by the goalkeeper. But no, a defender was going for the ball with Kanu. Did Carroll have to come? I don't think so.
An error of judgment surely then from the Irish goalkeeper. And Sylvain Wiltor has the chance now to double Arsenal's advantage and score his second of the evening. Well, can Carroll redeem himself? Very nearly. It was unlucky. But it was battered in by Wiltor. Wenger's team very much in control now.
Pure power, just underneath Carroll. Very straight. I think a little bit fortunate to score. Carroll will be disappointed. Wiltor will be happy. Alex will be thinking.
Quite so jolly now. Davies. Can they respond again, United? They certainly came back with some spirit after the first goal. But that's a big, big blow for them to suffer now.
Well, they had two wonderful chances, didn't they? Jordic and then Webber.
Free kick given to Arsenal. Wiltor, such a handful with his speed off the mark.
I think it came as a result of a Grimaldi interception, so he has had a big hand in both goals.
A little bit of improvisation then from Kanu, but not on the same wavelength as Ray Parlour. Dwight York. Can he inspire a revival now by United? O'Shea and Phil Neville. Davies right up there.
Once again, you see, that was typical of United, working the ball at the back, waiting for an opportunity to along the one to the front players, but they've got no real power up front to hold the ball or to compete in the air. What they have got up the front is two clever little runners who can seek space behind the defenders, but need passing players to get it in there.
Lugny. Wiltor. A clever interchange here by Arsenal. Now it's Lugny.
Not a clever pass by Pennant. I don't think really Lugny wanted that ball. He went into that area purely as a decoy. The space, the pass was inside.
He hasn't been the regular for Arsenal, but he might have expected to be Lugny. Originally signed to put some pressure on Lee Dixon. And now, of course, Lauren is the first choice, and he's on the bench tonight, Lauren.
Yeah, I think Lugny gets very frustrated because he was a wonderful player for Kieran, and he's now finding himself very much a squad player. But of course, we want him to stay in London because he he shows Rebroff around and he translates for him and he helps him and takes him shopping, so it's good company.
Players don't have time to go shopping, do they? That was Adu. Managers do. Here's Chadwick.
Good decision by the referee, aided by his assistant. A clear body check by Adu on Chadwick. I think he was waiting to see who gained possession.
Adu, who remember has been cautioned. Here's Stewart. Now Roach. Adu with the challenge. He is fired up this evening, isn't he, Adu? Really determined to impress. Wants to make up for lost time. But Bronckhorst here now. It's a throw, not a free kick, as the Dutchman had thought. Kanu. Stretching those long legs. It's Parler now. Lushni to his right. Now Pennant. Trying to fend off Dwight York. But he stuck to his task well then, did York. Adu on his way back. And no harm done. But how costly, I wonder, will that rush of blood to the head be by Carroll? That gifted the penalty to Arsenal. Stepanovs. Looking at Adu. Oh, good skill too. Now Kanu. He can play a bit. O'Shea. Well, United with more possession, but Arsenal have inflicted the damage where it really counts. With 10 minutes of the half to go. Jordic to Dwight York. An excellent pass too, releasing Roach. Davies has come short for him here. Away from Grimaldi, but not from Bronckhorst. Chadwick. He's rather flitted in and out of the game so far. Jordic. To play by Pennant to regain possession for Arsenal. It's Wiltor then. And Parler. Now Tavlaridis. Very pretty, but not that effective.
Well, it's credit to United that they made them play that ball back there. Two front players working very hard to pressurise.
Two very committed teams here this evening, as that is underlined again. Here's Chadwick now. Kanu after him. Referee Riley says on you go. It's Kanu here. Looking to dance his way through. Good tackle by O'Shea. Davies, Jordic calling far side. Davies had seen him too. Here's Jordic. Webber's in the middle. And a clumsy clearance by Stepanovs. It was straight at Bronckhorst. Arsenal getting themselves into a muddle again. Davies, but he hasn't punished them. Adu on the counter raid here. To Kanu. This time Wiltor is offside. No hat-trick for him. Not yet anyway. But he is a real threat with his pace.
That was a clever angle ball actually. And I think that Roach, he raised his hand in hope. And in the end he got satisfaction. But once again that was very close and possibly the linesman or the assistant may have got that one wrong.
Adu. Stepanovs. Now Bronckhorst on a run from Stepanovs' pass. Woolwork. Played enough games last season to win a championship medal. Never quite broken through though, has he?
No, he's going to find it difficult with the competition at Old Trafford. Did very well at Antwerp. He's one of those who will have a career in the game all right, but whether he'll be able to play at the highest level that United demand.
Djuric. No! They certainly have big hopes for him, but he's lost out here. Pennant. Misunderstanding the Wiltor, who gave it away. Chadwick now. Djuric to his left. Typical mazy run here by Chadwick. Now Djuric. And Webber stretching. It was just too heavy for him, but only just. Bit of a late tackle from Stepanovs. He's miscalculated there.
Yeah, it's not finding that easy, Stepanovs, to contain the two bright front players. But once again, crossed by Djuric, just a little bit too strong after good play by Chadwick. If they can get them on the ball, they've still got a chance of getting back in this game.
Djuric bending it in. Wright made the decision to come for it, and he's escaped.
Well, he who hesitates is lost, and he certainly didn't hesitate. He went all the way, and York just got up early and high, and Wright didn't get there.
He didn't yesterday either, in conceding that own goal against Charlton in this extraordinary game here. What seemed to be clambering all over Kanu. That's Edu on the charge. Just seemed to be leaning away as he struck for goal there.
Yeah, they just got a little bit more power when they go forward, of Arsenal. That's that body strength. Those few years of extra experience against top competition. Just that power. But ran out of space to get a clean shot.
Here's Grimondi. Now Kanu. Stewart, though, had the measure of him. It's Phil Neville here. And Stewart again. On to Chadwick, who has been working on building up his body strength. A full pass by Ronnie Woolwork in search of Roach down this right side for United. Here's Wiltor with Van Bronckhorst and Stepanovs, who's won 7 championships with Scontorigo. Not many on the pitch can say that, David.
Nope.
Here's Kanu.
Not many on the pitch have played for Latvia either, Peter. Have you ever been to Latvia?
I haven't, no. You've got a timeshare, though.
2, actually. It's cold, though.
Now, plenty more to look forward to, of course, on ITV Sport Channel. Bolivia against Brazil, that South American World Cup qualifier, live on Wednesday at 11:30. And from the First Division, that's the Roses match, isn't it? Preston against Barnsley on Thursday. That's on the Sports Channel too. Stepanovs. Rather aimless ball, though. He looks nervy to me, Stepanovs. I don't think the crowd are really warming to him, and that's not helping.
I think Parler's going to get a yellow, and that will be for persistent fouling. Slightly unlucky, but as Mr. Riley will be telling him now, it's your 3rd time, old chap. Very clever, isn't he, Chadwick, at running with the ball. He's got a lovely sway about him. He's an elusive player. He doesn't look particularly comfortable at times. He looks an ungainly type, but quite effective.
This is Neville. Now O'Shea. Chadwick's made a dart here. Fireworks blasting off all around us here. I can hear them. I can't see them. Well, in footballing terms, the fireworks have come really from Sylvain Wiltor with his double strike. Here's Kanu. Wiltor just ahead of him. But back comes Djuric. Actually broke into the first team against Tottenham as a sub last season, David.
I'll take your word for it, Peter. I wasn't aware of that.
Obviously made his mark that day. Yes, you were in your usual position, were you? Getting very involved, and the decision has gone against him.
I don't think Alex will be displeased with United as the game's gone on. I think they've been unlucky a little bit to concede a second goal. They played some quite bright football. Obviously, they lack power up front, which is a big attribute at this stage, really, you know, against big, strong defenders in that last 20 yards of the field. But some of their football has been quite bright. They passed the ball well. They've had more possession than Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal have sat on that one goal and then had that little bit of fortune to get a penalty for the second. But I'm sure Alex won't be unhappy, but he'll want them to go and take the game on in the second half and continue.
A real chance to see how some of these youngsters perform at the higher level. But no question, Arsenal have the upper hand, thanks to one of their big stars, Sylvain Wiltord. It is no question a stronger Arsenal team than United's. Wiltord, then Kanu and Edu. An unfortunate stumble then by Roach. Grimondi to Parla. Decade now at Highbury, of course, Ray Parla. Dwight York. On to Webber, and then Chadwick. They've got plenty up here, United, including Dwight York. But Arsenal holding their line. And now letting loose through Edu. 1 minute will be added on. Chadwick. Dispossessed by Grimondi.
Once or twice when Dwight York broke and tried to make a clever pass to his front players and the ball has broken down, there's been a little bit of a hole in the centre of midfield for Arsenal to counter. Dwight York obviously not used to playing in the midfield position. He's not doing a bad job, he's working very hard.
Back comes York. Losing out though to Pennant, now Parla and Wiltord. Good football here from Arsenal. Wiltord, again he's onside. That's the hat-trick. Terrific front running from Sylvain Wiltord. Arsenal take a 3-0 lead. Oh, that's quality stuff from the Frenchman.
I think it was Parla that played that ball once again, a tight decision. Carroll come a little bit late. He had clear control and he's just nicked it over. There's Parla's ball. Eye on the ball. The deftest of flicks. And now United really have a mountain. It was always going to be difficult. There's that little touch. Carroll in no man's land, coming late. Ball trickles over the line and the ground explodes.
Really sharp finishing then from Wiltord. He was onside. I think it might have been Neville playing him on. Well, a super finale then to the first 45 minutes for the home team. They have been the more dangerous side, and certainly this man has been in lethal form. 3 goals from Wiltord.
Yeah, it's important that these sorts of players get this sort of experience, because it comes not that often, does it, for players at big clubs like this?
It's really rare, and what the Arsenal lads will have now is we see Hull's getting ready to come on is...
Getting a chat from Liam Brady.
That's right. You know, do like you did in the youth team and don't worry. That's the big thing. You know, go and express yourselves. I'm sure that's what Liam's saying. You're a good player, now go and show these people out here how good you can be.
I think Liam needs a stepladder to hold it eye to eye, doesn't he? Little Liam. Excellent stuff. Would Fergie just have a fairly quiet word in the dressing room with the boys? Wouldn't get too carried away, would he?
No, not at all. It'll be. I'm sure he'd have said, "All right, done, mate. Well done. Keep it going. Just keep going. Keep playing. Keep looking for it. Keep being positive." Simple as that.
Some of these boys, Arsenal boys, are international players.
Yeah.
You know, the Manchester United have shown that they can live at this level.
Yeah, there's plenty to take from it, even though they are 3-0 down. The players just starting to emerge onto the pitch behind us, as you can see. Second half not far away, so let's rejoin our commentary team to what they made of the first 45 minutes. David Pleat and Peter Brackley.
Thank you, Matt. Just to confirm that John Halls, wearing number 32, 19 years old, he's coming on in place of Van Bronckhorst for Arsenal, and a change in goal for United.
Very pleased. It's a good, entertaining game. Arsenal have put a lot of work into it, and our lads are holding their head up well.
Good. Well, just underway, so let's rejoin our commentary team. Thank you, Alex.
Yes, we've started, Alex. He's gone off to found his seat now. Didn't seem too concerned. Obviously, it's not top of his priorities, David, but all the same, what do you think he kind of drawn from this first half in terms of the commitment of his team for a start?
Well, he suggested that they'd been bright, and I would agree with that. He also suggested you need strong officials. I didn't think that was a big talking point in the first period. I thought Barber and his two assistants, maybe he was talking about the couple of marginals where goals came from offside decisions, but I don't know what game Gary's watching, but maybe, you know, Gary saw something in the penalty that we didn't see. But no, I think that the most important thing for United's point of view is they now really show what they're made of and resist Arsenal, particularly if Arsenal relax and surge forward, because there's no question about it. Arsenal are a stronger side, but there's a lot of good footballers in this young United team. A lot of good footballers.
Well, that was a really well-timed intervention then by Tavroularides, the young Greek defender. He certainly seemed unfazed by it all in the first half. It is Weber now, trying to force his way through. Stepanov standing firm. Kanu. I certainly thought it was a penalty when he went to ground after colliding with Roy Carroll. That was Halls, now to Wiltor. Halls from nearby Islington. This is Kanu, who comes from a bit further away. Arsenal have forced the corner here off Djuric.
Good defending. Djuric very much an attacking wide player, but they're showing the responsibility to come back, concede the corner.
Stepanov's among those in the middle. And well claimed by the veteran Van der Houw, the Dutchman who's come on then for the second half in place of Carroll. Weber, quick feed and a good ball as well. Chadwick here, went storming through. Now that's a foul by him though on Tavroularides.
That's good play by little Weber to put Chadwick into that area. I think he suggests that Chadwick was holding the Greek centre-back.
Just 19 years old. And I think the Arsenal fans like what they see of him so far. Here's Wiltor, working diligently still. 3 goals so far for him and thirsting for more. Stepanovs.
He looks as though he's still finding it difficult to adjust to Highbury. Stepanovs, the tall Latvian defender, plays a lot of straight balls, doesn't make good angled passes.
Well, he stood still then, but the decision has got his way as York came sprinting through. Now Parler. What a good example he's set to his teammates, the captain. Pence. Here's Djuric. Pennant going charging back to underline his endeavour.
Well, he's really fast, is Pennant.
Attracted a lot of publicity, a lot of attention in his youth, of course, Pennant. Is this now the time for him to cut through? Tavroularides got caught up then with Weber and is in some discomfort.
I think he's caught him on the shoulder with his boot.
Just just as he fell there, rather awkward for Tavlaridis. I don't think any blame could be attached to Weber there.
No, he's going down the sides for that ball that he likes. He was fast. Tavlaridis was over quite quickly. There was a lovely incident a couple of minutes ago where Mike Riley-Parlour complained about the attentions, I think it was of Stewart, and the ball broke loose, and afterwards he went looking for the player that had possibly fouled Parlour. Anyway, he let the game go, and he warned the wrong player. He said, don't do that again. It just shows his unfamiliarity with these young players. He wouldn't have got a Premiership player case of mistaken identity.
Here's Juric with the free kick. Tavlaridis still off the field, receiving attention. Wiltor. Well, that was neatly played. Now Pennant. Parlour's gone storming forward. So was Edu with a wonderful touch. Wiltor. Is this number 4 for him? Great stop by Van der Hal, but what an incisive piece of counter-attacking then by Arsenal.
Yeah, super play. It's Pennant who played the diagonal ball, a gorgeous touch, and then Wiltord cutting across, taking the ball so well. Unfortunately for United, Van der Hal shaping up better than his colleague in the first half, who I thought was a little bit sketchy in his general goalkeeping, Roy Carroll. But that was a fine save.
And a real touch of Brazilian flair from Edu, who set up the chance. Here he is again now. Dwight York back on defensive duty. Juric. Good interception though by Lushny, who'd come across. Grimondi. The game will really open up, I'm sure, in the second half. This is Pennant now looking for a run on goal. Still Pennant. The crowd urging him on, but he couldn't find the finish to match the run.
Well, very positive. Liam Brady, his coach, of course, who came from Notts County. Liam Brady has encouraged him with his large staff here who will look after this boy and try and make him a first-team player. I'm sure they have every opportunity. He is really, really quick, and he gives left-backs a torrid time when he's on form. But I thought there was a fantastic break by Lushny there on his left side to open up the space for him to come on the inside and use his better right foot.
Here's Chadwick now. I think it was just clipped then. So it will be a free kick. He's the man who can set things up for Manchester United. And they urgently need a lift of some kind now, just to give themselves some hope. Here is Chadwick. And Juric, who always favour his left foot. Looked like a trip from here. Mike Riley was a lot closer. Didn't think so. Parlour bursting away now to Kanu. Oh, O'Shea in first. Unruffled then, the young Irishman O'Shea. Here's Juric.
Lushny gone to left back, Hall's over on the right hand side at right back, still playing with two centre backs, Tavlaridis and Stepanovs across the middle. Pennant, Parlour, Grimondi and Edu, Wiltord and Kanu, the front players who've got too much power and pace for the United defenders.
Young Halls with the free kick, maybe? No, he's going to leave it, I think, for Richard Wright in the England squad for the game against Sweden. So is Phil Neville. An interesting day for Sven-Göran Eriksson against his homeland. Wiltor, and a very neat spin then. I tell you what, David, he's in the mood tonight.
Well, he's certainly going to get the prize for the most goal attempts. I think he'll probably get the prize for the most on target too. Hat-trick first half.
We have an instant response. Goal attempts, well, clearly in Arsenal's favour. Shots on target. I'll be asking you to name your man of the match later, David. I think Wiltor might just be a contender.
He might, you know, but I'll make some strange decisions.
Yes, but knowing you, he'll have to score 6 first. Here's Davies. Now Neville. Davies on to Neville again. This is promising for United. And that's handball by Halls.
Well,
going to book him for it.
Well, he deems that as deliberate handball. It's stopping the ball into the penalty area, and possibly a goal-scoring chance might develop from it. So there's no option really if he's refereeing to the letter of the law. You know, it's handball in a defensive position. He's stopping across. That's a yellow card.
Hard to get out of the way, though.
Well, if the referee thought that he couldn't get out of the way, he wouldn't have given the free kick.
Absolutely. Flipped over by Stewart. It's Chadwick now to fire it back in, but without any real conviction. Haven't had that cutting edge, have they, in front of goal?
No, they haven't got the power. It's purely power. I mean, they're a good footballing team, but when that ball comes into the box there, you know, Arsenal are heavy favourites to clear the ball. There's just not enough muscle amongst the United group that are out here tonight.
Wiltor to Kanu. Arsene Wenger, who says he's going to sign his new contract soon. It's been gathering dust, of course. Someone blew on it the other day and thought the room was on fire. Here's Edu. The tug on Kanu. David Dean, who hopes he will put pen to paper.
Well, I think he's still looking for the pen, actually. It's any week now, though, they say.
He's the man. He's the man. Juric. Now then to Neville. A long way back from here for Manchester United, especially when they give it away that cheaply. It's Pennant. You just sense he's going to be a real crowd favourite at Highbury. Outmanoeuvred on this occasion by Stewart. With his aggression, it's left Pennant in some distress too. Now Chadwick's gone down. On goes Stewart again. He has caught the eye for Manchester United. Juric. Stewart in pursuit. Does he trip then? Mike Riley says no.
Well, I don't think he's got the now, Stewart, to fall, to cheat. There's a problem at the other end. Pennant's down. There's a bit of a kerfuffle in the box there, which Mr. Riley's going to sort out. Davies fell. I don't think he dived. Riley certainly thought that he didn't dive. It was a bit of a stumble. Well, Pennant trying to round 2 or 3 players. There's no foulers at that moment.
But it's a worrying sight for young Jermaine Pennant. I just feel he might, if he can shake this injury off now, might exploit some of the space he'll get in the second half here.
Well, there's certainly some zip about Arsenal when they pick up the ball in midfield. They're exposing the space. Unfortunately for United, Stewart looks to me a bit of a player who can hold ground and also play, and he's playing quite well. I'm impressed, very impressed with Stewart in midfield. Dwight York's running free. He's playing with the usual abandon that he does, and they could do with a holding midfield player in the centre there, or tuck the wingers in even more, so they play very narrow. But Arsenal are picking it up in that space, and the previous attack, it came from a poor square ball by Juric, and Stewart couldn't get it, and all of a sudden Arsenal were bursting forward. It could do with someone just holding a shrewd old wise head in the centre of midfield.
They're back to full strength anyway, because Pennant has returned to the field. Arsenal's youngest ever debutant, remember. Not tonight, that was a few seasons back now, but he's hoping to live up to his early potential, and he certainly won't want to go off. Hopefully that injury won't be too serious for him. This is Weber. He's shown a few good touches up front. Crowded out this time by Grimandi. But the Frenchman has been penalised.
Doing well, Grimandi. Had a hard game yesterday.
Well, he certainly hasn't pulled out in any way this evening, Gilles Brimondi. The team are doing okay. And certainly this man is Sylvain Wiltor. 3 goals on the night already, and who's to say there won't be more? The form he's been showing. Dwight Yorke hasn't yet scored for Manchester United this season, and fair to him, he hasn't started too many games. So often much rests on body language. David, what do you read into Dwight Yorke at the moment?
I think he's done quite well tonight. He's played genuinely, and I've been pleased that he's tried to release the ball to less experienced players at the right time. I think he's done a very genuine job in there. I just think that overall, you know, he can't really cope at times with the counter-attacking side of the game.
Here's Davies. Brimondi left his leg trailing.
It's funny, Sir Alex was complaining at half-time about the referee. Now the Arsenal players are complaining about the referee. They feel they're getting punished for tackles that they feel aren't that severe.
Is there a match when players don't complain about the referee? Kuhnert is lining this one up alongside Dwight Yorke and Stewart in attendance as well. It will be the left peg of Kuhnert, but it was deflected onto the crossbar. All right was beaten there, and the frame of the goal came to his rescue.
I wondered if he touched that onto the bar. I know got a deflection.
They do now. On the counter charge, but not for long. Roach had got back. Here's Stewart. Now Yorke. It's a lot off then for Arsenal. United still persevering. But Davies hadn't read the intentions of Weber there. Up comes Vlushny on the left in the second half. Brimondi has got caught in possession. Dwight Yorke. Now Chadwick. 2 waiting in the middle. And it's Vlushny who's come out on top against Luke Chadwick. Arsenal playing themselves out of trouble. Now Wiltor. Such a quick change of direction, that change of pace. And now Parler's found another gear. This is Pennant. Taking on Neville. Still Pennant. But a good, strong, sturdy challenge by O'Shea to bail out the England man Neville. Dwight Yorke. Chadwick in some space down the right. They've got 2 up top. Still Chadwick. And it was Brimondi who'd come chasing back. All credit to him. Kanu. Pennant had shown for him. Here is Pennant now. Kanu. Oh, he's onside. And it was agonisingly wide from Kanu.
Well, it was terribly wasteful after some wonderful early play by Kanu. I mean, he knows exactly where he is. He has a look up. Was he trying to chip to Wiltord?
Chadwick nearly slotted it through. Here's Chadwick again. I thought he was going for goal, Kanu. We'll look again in a moment. Chadwick to Dwight Yorke. Now Edu. Including this game, Kanu has scored 3 in 6 starts. This was a terrific opportunity for him.
Well, he's got clean through there. Probably was looking at the far corner, probably saw Mr. Jensen do it yesterday for Charlton and maybe had a vision of a beautiful chip.
Here's Roach now linking with Chadwick. Still showing plenty of heart and desire, Manchester United. Maybe some of the passion Alec Ferguson felt his team were lacking yesterday.
I wonder if Alex will make a move soon to maybe remove one of the front players. It's very has been very difficult for them. I think they've both done well this evening, but I think the physical effort of playing against more senior players and trying to do the closing down is bound to take its toll.
Wiltor might be in here against Woolworth. Oh, Mike Riley had a good look, hard look and then pointed to the spot. He was in a terrible tangle, Woolworth. Just found the pace and the power of Wiltor too hard to contain. It was clumsy, David.
Well, he certainly didn't pull him by his hair, but he tried to grab his hair. And I think he put his hand on his head and forced him to ground. He struggled a little bit tonight, Woolworth. Not easy against the pace of Wiltor. There you see him leaning on his nose. He's going to be second. And there he gives him a little tug, and you can't get away with that.
Kanu picked up the ball, marched off towards the penalty spot, placed it down. He intends to take the kick. He didn't care what Wiltor thought about it, and that's why. It's 4-0. Kanu is on the score sheet again. And his team surely now are coasting.
Yeah, cleanly taken. Nice side of the foot, very relaxed. Quite sure that Lenny Lawrence, now sitting in the stand, can leave. He knows who he's going to be playing and where he's going to be playing in the next round. Grimsby will be at Highbury for sure.
Rohan Ricketts is coming on now for Arsenal. Grimondi, I think, will be giving way. Not just at the moment. Here's Roach. Arsenal conceding 4 at home in the Premier League for the first time yesterday. Today they have scored 4, and United haven't managed any reply as yet. But I'm sure they will still give it a go. Here's Chadwick. Jordic. Another young man about them to have this opportunity in the Worthington Cup. Only 18, Rowan Ricketts, an England under-18 international. Jordic. Back comes Grimondi. It might be his last contribution. He's limping anyway. Kanu.
I'm sure it will be that Grimondi was sacrificed. He played yesterday. He took some stick, I think, from the supporters yesterday. He's won his spurs back tonight, I think. He's worked very hard, made a couple of vital interceptions that led to moves for goals in the first period. And it's been a good balance with Parle. They've been far too strong in the centre, although Stewart and York have done some good things. Stewart particularly looks a fine player for the future. But Ricketts will come on. He's a ball manipulator, a midfield player who's got a bit of imagination and vision, nice control.
I might have known you've seen him before. You've seen every young player in the country, haven't you?
Played in the... I have seen him a couple of times, actually. Yeah. Played for England in the Youth International at Tottenham last season. And he's now playing reserve football. Arsenal play a very young reserve side. A lot of the experienced players that are playing here tonight don't get regular reserve games. They tend to play a very young reserve side.
Will walk. Substitutions about to be made. Daniel Nardiello on for United, I think, in a moment. 2 number 40s.
That makes 80, doesn't it?
Whatever happened to the old 1-2-11s?
It's far too simple.
That's good work again at the back from Tavlaridis. Well, Halls has already been shown the yellow card. Jordic certainly kicked out at him there. That does not look too clever. And he is off. Another baptism for him. Well, we did wonder whether the booking for the handball was harsh. I think you were right. By the letter of the law, Mike Riley had to show him that first card, and that was a foolish challenge. Well, Wenger couldn't look unhappy about it, but what on earth was he doing there, the young man? You'd have to say that, though.
Well, you can't say, because it's, you know, the results. There's a clear kick, and the ball was going out of play. It was an unnecessary challenge too. Obviously, he's going to get the sympathy of the home crowd, and possibly Arsene Wenger either wouldn't have seen it, or will try and defend him. But you know, Mr. Riley has to referee as he sees it, and he's not going to take into account the fact that it's his debut or he's come on as a substitute. Every player is a player, and Riley has to do what he has to do.
Inexperience got the better of him there. On a big occasion for young John Halls. It's ended on a very sour note for him. Jordic is now going off. Not getting the same kind of response from the crowd that Halls received. But in fairness to Jordic, I mean, he just lashed out at him. He kicked him, there's no question about it. And here is Daniel Nardiello, on for his little taste of glory. At least in terms of playing in front of this huge crowd at Highbury, even if the scoreline isn't what he would have wanted.
Yeah, I stand corrected. This young man coming on, Nardiello, his father was a winger, quite a good one with Coventry City. And he started his career at Wolverhampton, taken from their centre of excellence by Manchester United. They're quite bright at the time. Attracted him to Old Trafford.
Is there a rethink going on here? Rowan Ricketts was about to come on. Well, you can imagine his disappointment if he doesn't now.
I think it's got to be Grimaldi, really, and I think they can afford to put Ricketts on.
Bit of confusion.
Arsene Wenger's got his arms astride, Grimaldi's got his arms astride. I don't know if they're communicating in French. But now his number is up. Or is it? Oh no, they've taken Pennant. Grimaldi didn't want to come off. He definitely wanted him to come off.
Well, the crowd here rising to Jermaine Pennant. Glimpses of his undoubted potential tonight. He will be back. He will be back.
Parler will play wide on the right, I would think. Ricketts will play centre with Grimaldi.
Possibly, but not just at the moment.
I think he was told to. I think the young boy was told to come on and tell Parler to go and play wide. And I think Parler said, don't worry, you stay there. I'll stay in the centre.
Well, told to by you mean? Here's Neville. Now Dwight York. Well, they certainly deserve at least a consolation, Manchester United. I don't think anyone would deny them that.
They've just got to hope that in the remaining minutes they don't get caught more on the counter and concede more.
Oh, some really fine work again here by Edu, who might dribble in. Just couldn't quite make it.
There's Davies back there defending. He's gone deeper. Nardiello's gone up front with Webber.
Chadwick to Woolwalk. Now Neville. Here's Wiltor. Lenny Lawrence, I'm told, is just departing. He has seen enough. Wondering, shall he put his first team out or his third team against the winners?
Now he's departing, Peter, because his last train to Grimsby is about now.
Here's one of the number 40s on now, Ricketts. Harry Fry had squad numbers in the three figures, didn't he, at Birmingham?
Yeah, I think he had up to 72 at one time. He gets accused of that, but Barry says he didn't have them all at the same time. And he wanted another few.
This is Stewart. He's caught the eye. I've been impressed by him. I think you go along with that, wouldn't you, David?
Yeah, I like him. He's a good passer of the ball. He's got energy. As the game's gone on, he's been involved in tackling. He likes to tackle. I think he's definitely going to be one for the future. He's got a good attitude. It's very difficult for young players to play as a group together against older players. You know, that's why you have to introduce the odd one on at a time, really, to see what they can really do. Sometimes it's an unfair comparison when they're all playing together.
York. Inside the last quarter of an hour, here's Stewart again. Always looking to take the game to Arsenal whenever he can. York. Now Weber. He's got a little trick, hasn't he, where he rolls the ball over his foot there.
Yeah, he's got a little trick, he's got a little temper too, and put the two together, and I think they'll have a player. He's got lovely movement, and he's fast, and he's been unfazed this evening as well. It hasn't worried him playing against two guys at least 6 or 7 inches taller and stronger, of course.
This is Edu, and then Lushny. It's a trip by Dwight York. Ever smiling.
Charlie George.
Charlie George, yeah, he got an important goal once, didn't he? Just a little bit. FA Cup final winner for the Arsenal. Neville to Dwight York. Now Chadwick trying his luck down this left side. Nardiello. Don't think he'll quite keep it in. Well, coming up soon in the first division of the Nationwide League, Wimbledon against Sheffield United. It's on Friday on the Sport Channel at 7:30. Walsall against Nottingham Forest, Sunday at 6 o'clock. Phil Neville. A little period of possession here by Manchester United, and they have at least got a free kick out of it. Be absolutely desperate to keep a clean sheet after letting in 12 in the last 5 games, remember, Richard Wright. It's Stewart. Never looked like extending right, though.
Well, they had the confidence to go for it.
Who's he been watching, do you think?
Well, there's some real experts at Old Trafford at those dead balls, and it must be wonderful for the younger players to try and emulate the Beckhams and the Verons. Just thinking, Pete, you know, they've had value for money at Highbury in the last 24 hours, 10 goals.
And almost 31,000 here to witness tonight's proceedings. Neville to Chadwick. There's been much to admire tonight. He's on a run again. It was Nardiello, though, failing to make any kind of impact. Edu, who certainly has for Arsenal. Now Wiltor. And of course, that can be said of him. On duty for France, of course, against Australia. A controversial match later in the week.
Yeah, I know a lot of supporters are hoping the game's going to be delayed a couple of days, but I think it's scheduled for a Sunday.
And they've got an easy game coming against Tottenham, of course.
It'll be very interesting. I mean, it's going to be difficult for players to get over jet lag, and
you hope, yeah.
But of course, I think that the country's right. I mean, you can't sign players knowing them to be internationals and then deny the countries playing them.
Here's Dwight York from Trinidad and Tobago. He's had his problems in that department in the past, hasn't he? Whether to go or not. Webber. Now Chadwick. Nardiello ahead of him. This is Neville.
Parler's really the heart of Arsenal at times. Been a terrific servant for them.
Another change, it's Michael Clegg now. And it's Woolwork going off. Clegg, who featured in the League Cup games last season, I remember. He's been around for a little while now. Another who might just be looking at his situation and thinking, well, is it time to move on?
Yep, he's had a couple of loan spells. I think he's had a loan spell, if I'm not sure, maybe at Bury also. I think at Ipswich he had a loan spell. And needs to have first-team football. Once you get into your early 20s, it's difficult to keep the motivation going if you're not getting regular games in front of crowds.
Well, he's motivated tonight. The former Ipswich goalkeeper, Richard Wright. A confident claim there. Wiltor, who's been a constant menace to Manchester United. O'Shea managing to stab it out. And Wenger's team very much in control. O'Shea on the back foot against Kanu. And the third goal, really, David, rather ended it as a contest.
Yes, it did. It gave Arsenal the assurance that if they just sat in there and didn't get caught out of position and go forward silly, you know, they couldn't be really exposed. And Richard Wright hasn't really had any real saves to make. We've been pleased with the way United have played. They've played some good football. They've certainly got some talented players. But as we've spoken before, you can't compensate for pace and power, and Arsenal have got far too much of that for this young team.
Here's Rowan Ricketts to Wiltor. He's given such a fine exhibition in the art of finishing. He's on a roll again. Kanu now. Scorer of the other goal from the penalty spot. He'll try anything. On by Davies to Chadwick. And referee Riley bringing play back for the free kick. He sets off on these slalom runs, Luke Chadwick. He's hard to get the ball off. York to Neville. Two senior figures, along with goalkeeper Van der Houw. That's Chadwick. Trying to bludgeon his way through. Painfully so.
Well, Arsenal start fancying their chances possibly for this competition. Liverpool out, of course, beaten by Grimsby, and now United, another big club falling. Maybe Arsenal will think that they've got a very good chance in that competition.
Wiltor still battling. They do in support. This is Nardiello. Now Stewart. That's a good challenge from Lushney. He's had a strong game.
Yes, I think the crowd like Lushney. He's got real spirit, you know.
York to Chadwick. They've kept going well, United. But again, there's no way through, and it will be a free kick and some respite here for Arsenal. I'll ask you soon to name your man of the match, David. Not just yet, you can think about it a bit longer.
I know it won't be you, Peter.
There's a clue for you. That's a clue. Kanu. always teasing. This is Wiltor. Now Parler. On by Grimondi, I think he's finally going to be dragged off the field in a minute. Certainly didn't want to go earlier. This is Kanu. There's going to be a party piece here. Oh, the crowd love that. Maybe not the finish. Well, the first bit wasn't bad.
Well, nearly changed by man of the match.
Isn't he?
Nearly changed by man of the match. This is gorgeous. The crowd loved it. Look at the faces of the crowd. They loved it. That's what the crowd's like.
Now, Colin Itonga is on. Originally from Zaire, the old Zaire. He's only 19.
Well, he's got 4 minutes to make a name for himself. And Wiltor has now dropped in a little bit deeper and picking it up now.
Sylvan Wiltor. He's got Itonga away to his left. Luzhny to Parler. David Pleat just finalising his selection of man of the match. He's written down here Dennis Bergkamp. Here's Chadwick. Now Davis. And it tempted Richard Wright for a moment, but no more than that. Shall we put you out of your misery, David? Tell us who your man of the match is.
Yeah, as well, quite clearly for his explosive pace and decisive finishing. It's been the difference between the two sides, or one of the major differences. Sylvan Wiltor's had a night or two to remember. He's been excellent, and too much for United centre-backs to handle.
First time in my life I've ever agreed with you. But yes, Sylvan Wiltor, man of the match. Here he is again, right on cue. That was Stepanovs. Just 3 minutes now, plus time added on for stoppages. No question, Arsenal are going through to the next round. And only 2 extra minutes. Meantime, Nardiello making himself busy up front. And a really decent try too. Wide of goal at the end from Nardiello, but looking very sprightly up front. Arsenal, of course, twice winners of the League Cup back in 87 and 93. This is going to be Arsene Wenger's year. Their best under him in the past, a semi-final place back in the 97-98 season when they went out to Chelsea. Weber. Now Neville. Here's Stewart. A cool piece of defending again by the young Greek player Tavlaridis. He certainly hasn't let them down.
No, he's been steady against a clever movement of Davis and Weber.
Chadwick. Now Ricketts. Tonga was after that one, but O'Shea was there just to mop things up for United. They had that spell just after the first goal, didn't they, when they might have got back into it, but it's been downhill for them from there on, really. Let's see what Chadwick can do here. Almost into stoppage time. A little overzealous then was Danny Webber. But it's marvellous, David, for these young players to have this opportunity, and in front of this crowd too.
I think Alex possibly may have learnt more than Arsene tonight, looking at his team. Arsenal have won comfortably. The young players haven't let them down. Halls did nothing wrong when he was on before he was sent off. Pennant was okay. Ricketts has come on and been steady. The game's already gone in terms of the result. But from the Manchester point of view, I've been pleased to be here tonight to watch the likes of Stewart, Chadwick. Webber has got a real chance up front, there's no doubt about that. And the attitude of the team has been good. There's been a freshness about United, and you know, they've never become dispirited despite losing, you know, 4 goals. They've kept at it. All good qualities that Sir Alex will be pleased with.
Ray Parlour, who has led the fight for Arsenal. On by Davies to Dwight York. We'll be hoping he's done enough to catch the manager's eye. Maybe include him for a league game pretty soon. Chadwick. Still running, still working hard. Now Phil Neville. And Chadwick. Oh, almost played Webber in. Little unlucky there, Chadwick. Parlour breaking. Down went young Itonga. Here's Edu. Now Itonga. O'Shea towering over him. Still Itonga. And then Kanu. Clegg was having none of it.
Well, Kanu was going to do some kind of double pirouette and somersault there.
Dwight York on to Neville, and now Chadwick, who's popping up everywhere. He likes nothing better than to run up defenders and take them on, Luke Chadwick. Certainly shows no fear in that direction. Here's Davies now. 3 waiting in the middle, but waiting in vain. As Ricketts cuts it out. And now the decision has gone Arsenal's way. A night to remember for Sylvain Wiltord. Probably didn't think he'd be playing this evening. But he has done so to deadly effect, as the scoreline reflects. He'll be a bit happier tonight than he was yesterday, Arsene Wenger. They have cruised through in the end by 4 goals to 0, a hat-trick from Sylvain Wiltord. Kanu from the penalty spot with the other goal. Just that one little spell when United gave themselves hope. But Arsenal, in truth, were the stronger team overall and have run out deserving winners. Here are the goals then that settle it at Highbury tonight. Kanu to Wiltord, who defied the offside trap, and then Kanu was brought down by Carroll. A reckless rush out by the goalkeeper, up stepped Wiltord. It ricocheted in off the keeper. But Arsenal were on their way now. And here is Wiltord just wrapping things up from his point of view with his 3rd of the night. Again, maybe some debate, should there have been an offside flag, but he kept going. And here he is again, causing so much nuisance, so many problems, brought down by Warwark. And it was Kanu this time who whacked it in. So Arsenal triumphant, they're through to the 4th round of the Worthington Cup. They will now be at home to Grimsby in the next stage. And with Gary Newman now, Ray Parlour and the man of the match, Sylvain Wiltord.
Well, Sylvain is pretty limited, he says, with speaking French, doesn't want to speak, so goodness gracious me, Ray Parlour's going to do the talking.
I did the talking.
Yeah.
No, it was a good performance, you know. It's always hard, you know, after a defeat on Sunday. You know, disappointed with that, but, you know, we put a different side out tonight, but, you know, lads went out there, done what they had to do, win the game, and we look forward to playing Grimsby now in the next round.
Well, Sylvain was very sharp tonight, wasn't he?
Very good, you know. All game he was causing problems and got his hat trick, and you know, he let Kuhnert have the other penalty, so it was nice of him. But yeah, good performance tonight from the front two, definitely.
And Manchester United put out a very young side and battled very hard, but you must have thought, well, we've got to win this one with the players and the power that we have out tonight.
Yeah, it's a good experience for their youngsters. You know, they're all good little players. You know, I'm sure they're make a living in the game somewhere. So you know, it was a tough game. Sometimes it's harder to play against the youngsters. They run about and they get stuck in and try and prove themselves. So but it was tough, and you know, we was confident we could win the game. And we wanted to win it, and we want to go as far as we can in the competition.
Very disappointing for young Halls. He comes on, 25 minutes later he's off with 2 yellows.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I feel sorry for him. You know, it's his debut today, and
the second one was a silly one, though.
It was, yeah. He's got to learn that. You know, he's a good young player coming through. A few got a chance tonight, and they done well when they come in. But he'll learn his lesson, and I'm sure he'll get other opportunities to play in the first team.
Okay, well, if you could do the honours, and I'm sure he understands enough English to know that it's his bottle and not yours.
That's
right?
mine. I'm having this one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Andy and to Robbie. Learning experience for both sides tonight, but it's Arsenal have come out on top. Wiltord hat-trick. They're on to Grimsby. See ya.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. I'm destined